Types of articles. In this video, you'll learn about two main types of periodical articles, how they're different, and what they're good for. Articles are usually published in periodicals. Periodicals are published at regularly scheduled periods such as daily for newspapers, weekly or monthly for magazines, and usually 3 or 4 times a year for scholarly journals. Two main types of periodicals are popular and scholarly. Both of these types of periodicals can be useful when researching your assignments, but the value and usefulness will really depend on your assignment and your topic. Let's take a look at why each of these periodicals are published, who they're published for, and the types of articles you will find in them. Examples of popular periodicals are newspapers and magazines. They are published for a variety of different reasons, such as spreading news, informing, or entertaining. Some examples of scholarly periodicals are academic, scholarly, and peer-reviewed journals. They are published to share new research, theories, or analysis, and to advance knowledge in an area of research or scholarship. Popular periodicals like newspapers and magazines are written for the general population, so the writing style is generally easy to read and to understand. They are usually written by journalists or professional writers who work for the magazine or newspaper. Once in a while, a magazine or a newspaper will invite an expert to write an article. Scholarly periodicals are written for scholars and experts on the topic, so they will use specialized language that experts understand. The writing style will typically be academic and appropriate for the field of study. Authors who write scholarly peer-reviewed articles typically work for a university, other research institution, or they might work as a professional in the field. They usually do not work for the actual journal. Popular periodicals like newspapers and magazines are published quickly, usually daily, weekly, or even monthly. They are valuable for current events and can be very useful if you need sources on topics that are written for general adult readers. Scholarly peer-reviewed articles go through the peer review process. In a nutshell, the peer review process means that the expert author's article is reviewed by a panel of experts on the topic before being accepted for publication. Since the author and the reviewers are all experts, they are considered peers. That's why it's called the peer review process. The peer reviewers evaluate the article based on many different things, such as the quality of the research, the analysis presented in the article, or if the article matches the goals of the journal. Most articles are rejected by the reviewers and are not actually published. Some articles are sent back to the authors with suggestions for improvement. If the improvements are made, the author will resubmit the article for the peer reviewers to reconsider. Then the article is either accepted for publication, sent back for additional revisions, or is rejected. Occasionally, the article will be accepted as is. Because authors invest a lot of time in the research and writing of their article, and because the article must go through the peer review process, it may take several months or even years for peer-reviewed articles to get published. It's important to keep this timeline in mind as you develop your research topic for an assignment that requires peer-reviewed articles. Scholarly peer-reviewed articles are a valuable resource for scholars and researchers like you. Although peer-reviewed articles are generally considered authoritative, they are not infallible, and you should evaluate them just like you would any other source. And remember, just because something is published in a peer-reviewed scholarly journal, and just because you deem a source as reliable, doesn't mean you need to agree with it. It's always a good idea to consult many different sources and voices before reaching your own conclusions. So let's review. Articles are published in periodicals like newspapers, magazines, and journals. Popular periodicals are written for the general public, and examples are newspapers and magazines. Scholarly periodicals are written for experts and researchers. Journals that use the peer review process for its major articles are examples of scholarly journals. Peer-reviewed articles are written by and for experts on the topic. They are reviewed by a panel of experts and are accepted with changes, or rejected for publication. As you learn more about these two types of articles and how to find them, keep in mind that the value and usefulness of an article will depend on the context of your research, your assignments, and your topics. Thanks for watching.